Okay, we're live. So, my name is Haley, and I'm going to be interviewing my Uncle Sam for our video project this quarter. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Uncle Sam.
Morning, my name is Sam Turner. I'm Haley's uncle. I live in California, and she has chosen to interview me for this
Project.
class assignment. Yes.
So, first question. During adolescence, what motivations and or goals pushed you forward?
It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting story as to how I got into the career that I'm in. It started when I was in high school, and in my senior year, I needed another elective to wrap up my senior year. And the school offered a class in electrical. And I thought, I'll take it. Sounds interesting. And I took it and I did exceptionally well in the class. It made sense to me. So I thought, wow, this is cool. This is something that comes naturally. So I started pursuing it. After high school, I joined the service and I went into the Navy as an electronics technician, which kind of followed suit with the electrical class. So that's kind of how I got into where I'm at now.
So, you accidentally found your niche.
I accidentally found my niche. Yes, exactly.
That's kind of what happened to me. I was a sophomore, but I took an AP psychology class in high school, and then I was like, oh my God, I love this.
Yeah. So it just, it wasn't intentionally that I signed up for the class. It was just like I needed one more class to fill out my schedule, and that happened to be that elective. And 40 years later, here I am still knocking away with electrons.
Move on to question two.
Okay.
If you could go back and tell your adolescent self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Best in Microsoft.
Invest in Microsoft.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think of anything like that, like investing wise.
Well, I just, because that was during the time, it was the 80s when there was a lot of it coming around. And, all of my life, I mean, I'm not, I'm just saying from a financial standpoint, that would be a wise thing to do if you could go back and change it. But, I mean, we all go through hardships in life. And I look back on life and it's like, there were a lot of bumps in the road, but I don't regret anything. When you talk about investing, it's like everybody has to invest differently because everybody's financial situation is different. But something I tell people is to pay yourself first. Maybe I do remember my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and this is part of the reason. And this was when I was in high school. I wasn't a senior yet, but wasn't doing so well. I was kind of pulling off and stuff. And my grandmother did look at me and she said, "Sam, you need to graduate high school. You need that education. That's huge." So I guess that would be some of the most profound things that
That made a difference.
that made a difference in my life. Yes.
Next question. 4. When you were 18, what did you anticipate your career path was going to look like?
When I was 18, well,
I guess you would have been what, a senior in high school?
actually, I turned 18 on Thursday, graduated high school on Friday, and Monday I was in the Navy. So
Okay, so yeah, back to that original question. When you're 18, what did you anticipate your career path was going to look like? You knew that you were passionate about the ocean and that you were going into the Navy, and then everything kind of unfolded from there.
right, and it's like I told you, I knew that electronics and stuff I was intrigued by it, and that's what I pursued when I was in the Navy. But like I said, I always had that longing to be part of the ocean and not around the ocean. And
So you
so
kind of found like the best of both worlds.
yeah.
How is your current career path different than how you anticipated?
I guess I always wanted to be an engineer my whole life, right? And it took me a while to get here. Um, and I've been working for the company I'm at now for 14 years, and probably 12 of that 14 years was just engineering, and I loved it. But as I've gotten older and taken on more responsibility in the company and stuff, I'm more in a leadership role now that I'm not doing as much engineering. So that's kind of, I didn't expect that to happen. I mean, I'm enjoying it because it's new and it's challenging to me, but it's not what I would have expected I would be. And I figured I'd always just be programming and engineering and designing stuff. And so,
So the leadership aspect is something that you didn't really anticipate.
well, the mentoring, I have no problem with mentoring people, but it's like, now I'm in a role that I'm responsible for their compensations and their, discipline
Managing, basically.
and people. Yes. And also I'm doing a lot of what we call client development, that I work with a lot of clients and I do proposals and sales pitches, and that's getting out of my comfort zone. So that's why I'm saying it's a challenge, but
You're welcoming it.
I like it because it is challenging. It's new. It's different.
Yeah. Okay. As an adolescent, so when you were a teenager, did you imagine yourself as being happier and more successful than you are now?
I don't really think I gave it a lot of thought. I just, I knew that, you know, because I think I'm fairly happy now. I would consider myself successful. I mean, I'm doing great, I think. More importantly,
say so.
my job. Huh?
I would say so.
But I never, I wasn't the type of person that was like driven to a goal. Like I have to be that. I was more like, if I came across something that interested me, I would study it and learn it. And it's interesting because, growing up in the 80s, it was an age of what I call evolution. Computers were just coming out, and cell phones were big bricks at the time, but the technology was, intriguing to get into it and watch how it was advancing to me. So I didn't set a goal saying, oh, I want to be in 25 years, I want to be living in a mansion on the hill. I just like, what do I enjoy doing? Let me pursue that. And it just led to where I am today. So that's what I would say is if you're striving for a goal and you're happy striving for that goal, then go for it. But more importantly, find things that you enjoy doing. And because like I said, did I perceive myself being as happy and successful as I am now when I was a teenager? I didn't put thought into it. I just,
Mm-hmm. That's crazy because I feel like I put so much thought into that for myself. Like I imagine like getting to a point in my career and having like a big house and a family, and like I have a fear deep down that I won't meet the goals that I have for myself or have like what I see myself having.
no, and I get that. And that's what I'm saying is if, you like, and we all have, like I tell my people, it's like, okay, set your 6-month plan, set your 1-year plan, set your 2-year plan, set your 5-year plan. But understand that it's a plan. It's not, you're working towards that goal.
But do you have any regrets surrounding your life, career path, and choices? If so, what are they? If not, explain why not.
And like you said, we've touched on a lot of this already. I don't, not just career, but my life as a whole. I kind of take the philosophy that everything that happened in my life was me, right? I was part of it. I choose not to regret any of it because I made all those decisions in my life, right? As far as my career path, I will say this, and I I did. There were a couple of times in the career I'm in now, in the engineering, that I made some unwise choices in how I approached things, and it slowed my career growth for a period of time. I guess my regret would be that the only one is that I didn't learn to become that person sooner.
8, did you have to make any personal career sacrifices to put your family's needs first?
Well, I'll tell you this: when I went back to college, I had custody of Stephanie. She was a teenager at the time, and I was working about 45 hours a week, and I was driving about an hour back and forth to work every day. So I was taking classes at night. You know, there were times that I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to get through this because it's causing too much sacrifice on the family, you know. And I thought about it. I thought, you know, in the long run, we're going to be better off for this. Because I look at it as more as what I was doing for my career and work was actually better for my family because I was doing it. Does that make
That's
sense?
how I would see it too. Yeah, because you're putting in that effort to make sure that your family has a better foundation, and
Yes. You
so
know,
it's like a balance though with time and stuff. And
I get more joy now out of spending time with family and friends, and you know, sitting on the back patio with, you know, a friend drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, just visiting. So what makes me happy now is not so much the pursuit of financial and wealth, you know, which is, you know, you get that in your head when you're younger, a lot of people, and it's like it's just, you know, like yesterday I walked outside, a beautiful sunny day, I'm looking at the plants, and it was contentment.
yeah, 10. We're almost done. At your current place in life, what would you attribute your happiness to? So we kind of just talked about that.
Yeah, I would attribute it to just and don't get me wrong, I mean, I try not to be this way, but we all do it to some degree. Sometimes I'll procrastinate on a project that I have to be done or a proposal that is due, and I will get completely stressed out about it.
That's what I do.
I mean, it'll just be like, oh man, this is due. Hey, I've got to get this worked out, you know. Um, so, you know, I think one of the things that calms me down, gives me, I really get a true sense of contentment when I finish a task, you know, and I know I've done a good job on it. It's just like I'm I'm proud of what I've done, you know.
So checking off your OneNote boxes brings you little moments of happiness at the moment.
It's finding, you know, just you know, I need organization, and organization makes me happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm glad I got to learn so much about you. I never knew that you were such a techie guy.
Never knew that Uncle Sam was so cool.
No, I mean, I knew you were cool, but I didn't know, I didn't even know that you went to college, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, I went to 4 years of college, 2 years of trade school, and when I was in the Navy, I went to school for a year and a half. So I've got like 8 years of schooling.
Well, thank you for doing this interview with me. I
No problem.
appreciate it. I'll call you later and we'll chat.
Hope you get a good grade.
Okay.